218, as some of you may know, that's the number which you earn the majority in the United States House of Representatives. And for me, that's not so much about party, although having been in the minority, I think the majority may be a little better. But it's more about, by being Thompson 218, by achieving that number, what we will do is restore checks and balances to a runaway government. And we do not have that today. We are so far out of balance because of the numbers that the majority party has, in addition to the White House, has had those had their 60 votes, so that the minority really didn't have any opportunity to legislate or to stop the runaway train in the Senate. And that was until we in Massachusetts, we had the Scott that was heard around the world. And in the House, we were out of 435 members. There are now 178 of us, thanks to my good friend Parker Griffith, a fellow healthcare professional who switched parties. But we were so far in the minority that we haven't been able to put the brakes on a runaway train. And we've seen that in terms of, and I have done battle on big governments borrowing and spending and taxing. I've done battle against government-run health care that raises taxes tremendously, cuts Medicare for older adults, and in the end leaves millions of people uninsured. It doesn't get the job done. It comes up short. I've led the battle on to prevent the tolling of Interstate 80. And I think we're really, I believe this week we're going to hear about Interstate 80. We're going to hear about the Secretary LaHood or Administrator Mendez will be making an announcement on that. I happen to believe that there was a deal cut that announcement wouldn't be made until after the governor. And I'm expecting good news. I really am. Secretary LaHood has assured me in my work with him that, and I insisted that I've seen decisions made two ways since I've come to Washington. One is based on the rule of law, and the other is based on politics. And politics has no business in deciding whether they toll Interstate 80. And he's assured me he's gotten that message, he's heard it clearly, and he is going to make this decision clearly on the rule of law. If he does that based on a criterion, I don't see how this gets approved. I happen to believe that the announcement was delayed to give the governor time to release his budget last week. And that's why we're going to see probably the announcement of regarding tolling this week. What the governor did, if you failed to see it, I think he slipped Senator something like $400 million, I believe, in tolling revenue into his budget, which is really interesting. And it's also very deceitful. Because let's just say, for an instance, that it gets approved. Phase 1 gets approved. Phase 1 is just Phase 1. Phase 2 is an environmental impact study and formal public input at a minimum. Let me give you an example of what the time frame for that is. There were only 3 slots approved for the pilot program that allows the tolling of an existing interstate. And the first 2 slots were taken by Missouri and Virginia. And they got their Phase 1 approval almost 10 years ago. They still, to this day, do not have tolls on their interstates. That process for Phase 2 is very long, it's very cumbersome. For the governor to put in $400 million into this budget of revenue from tolls is just deceitful, because even if Phase 1 is approved, Phase 2 will never be approved in time to begin to build the gantries or whatever else they want to do to collect those revenues. And so it just really is, it's just a sleight of hand, and it just falls on the backs of the Pennsylvania taxpayers. It just creates, the one thing I'll agree with the governor is I like this term in the article he released, he called it a pothole. Pothole in his budget. Well, he created it. He's responsible for it. And I know that our local elected officials are going to let him have ownership on that pothole, that he created that problem. We have going forward a long road ahead of us in terms of the country's needs. And I'm looking forward to, for me, this position is not just about service. I think, as you know, service is important to me. That's why I pursued this. It's been actually a career and a lifetime in Lycoming County trying to make a difference in people's lives that were facing life-changing disease and disability. I was involved in scouting in the fire department and school board and the types of things that you're involved in. But for me, this opportunity today goes beyond service, and it's about leadership, and the leadership that America deserves, and the people of Pennsylvania's 5th District deserves, and that's my commitment is to lead on those issues, whether it be Interstate 80 tolling, whether it be pieces of legislation I've introduced that would be good for our only true economic engines we have in this country, small businesses. My first bill that passed out of the House was one that allows individuals that have that American spark, that American dream. They want to create a business, create jobs, create prosperity. Allows them to go online and use the 21st technology to get the training and the information and resources they need about putting together business plans, about dealing with employee taxes, about dealing with liability issues or marketing issues. That bill passed the House. My most recent bill I've done is a bipartisan bill with a friend of mine, a Democrat member from Alabama, Bobby Bright, good man. And Bobby and I put together a bill that allows those entrepreneurs that want to start a new business to be able to have a tax-deferred savings account. To allow them to build a pool of money, and they can add to it over a period of years, so that they have the resources they need. So that when it's time to pull the trigger and start that business, they got resources there to buy the capital, to buy the equipment, to buy the resources, to actually start the business. Those are the kinds of smart government solutions we've been working with and working on towards small business. Certainly continue to provide leadership on health care. And there's things that we can do to improve our healthcare system. I know that. I learned that the hard way, working in this community. Knowing that we have a pretty good healthcare system, but that we can improve upon it. And the 4 principles of healthcare reform that I've led my entire professional life, and I continue to lead with those in Congress, are doing the right things to decrease costs for everybody, to increase access, to improve quality, and to strengthen the decision-making relationship between the patient and the physician, not to allow the government or a bureaucrat to be a wedge in between that. And there are things we can do. We've got bills that were introduced, bills I worked on, been introduced back in July. Putting Patients First Act, H.R. 4300. That bill does tort reform. It allows people to purchase insurance across state lines. It allows the formation of association health plans. It actually addresses pre-existing conditions. You know, just because you're born with an illness or disability, or you have the misfortune to develop breast cancer, prostate cancer, or some disease during the course of your life, does not mean that you shouldn't be able to afford to purchase affordable health care insurance. Notice I said afford to purchase, not somebody's going to hand it to you or give it to you. And there are free market ways. This bill is really a free market bill in terms of getting government out of the way and doing the right things to make all of that happen. So those are the kinds of things that we've been working on, the kinds of things I'm looking forward to continue to provide leadership on. And let me say one more note, and continue to work on behalf of our dairy farmers. Our dairy farmers are dying financially. When we've had hearings that I've called for in the Agriculture Committee, and it's scary when the leading statistic is about the number of suicides among dairy farmers. Up to just a month or so ago, dairy farmers were losing an average of $100 per cow per month. You know, these are the folks that feed us. If you want a threat to your national security, outsource our food supply. Rely on a foreign country for food. We can't afford to do that. Frankly, our farmers deserve to make a decent living for what they provide us and how hard they work. And so we're working on that. I've provided leadership there. We've gotten some, what I would call is life preservers that have, with dairy exports and price supports and just some different things just to keep them afloat for now. Not the solution to the problem, but just to treat the symptom. We don't want them to go bankrupt, because you lose a farm, you don't get it back. And we're working long term. Going to the chairman and ranking member, they've heard my message. They've committed to the next farm bill will include some free market reforms in terms of milk pricing. We're going to begin those hearings for the next farm bill soon. And so we're going to be moving in a direction so that our farmers can earn a decent living for what they provide and work so hard for us.